Today I'm going to show you how to triple your chances at success with one simple shift in your mind. Now, the first thing you've noticed is, yes, my handwriting is shit, and yes, my drawings are shit. Shut up, okay? As long as you guys can comprehend what's on the board, that's all I care about. But anyways, this one simple shift I'm talking about that's going to triple your chances at success. At the end of this video, you'll know exactly what it is and how you can do it as well. So, let's just get started. Now, before I can show you what the shift is, you need to know what your definition of success is. So what we're gonna do now is, I spent like 10 minutes on this. What we're gonna do is, we're gonna define your success. Because how are we gonna triple your chances at success if you don't even know what success is for you? Everyone has a different definition of success. Some people may want to become a billionaire. Some people just want to live a comfortable life. It all depends on you. So what we're going to do is we're going to define your success at your current moment now, okay? And I like to use something called the Core 5, which is basically your mental, your physical, spiritual, financial, social. If I ask you, what does success mean to you? It's a bit vague, right? That question's a bit vague. So we can use the Core 5. We can use the Core 5 to just make it a little bit simpler and easier to digest, right? So for mental, we want to think in the future, okay? So in the future, after you've achieved success, what does that person think about? And then you can write it down, right? And then for physical, after you've achieved success, what do you look like? You know, how do you feel? And then we can go to spiritual. Once you've achieved that success, what actually gets you up in the morning? Like, what do you dedicate the day to? And then financial, what do you spend most of your time doing or creating? And then for social, who do you spend the most time with after you've achieved success? So let's use this as a guide to find out and define what success is to you. And it could be anything. It could be like having a family, having a beautiful family, or having a beautiful wife and kids and living a nice, calm life, or having a loud, materialistic life, or inventing something new. It all depends on you, and everyone has a different definition of success. So this is very important. So after you've defined what success is to you, then we know what we're actually working towards, right? Because, you know, a goal without a destination is not a goal, it's a dream. So the next thing we want to understand is that everyone has a different perception of reality. Now, everyone has a different perception of reality. Write this down, okay? So that means you can see this board as cheap and shit, which it is cheap, and I wouldn't say it's shit, but it is cheap. I could see it as such a prestigious board that is made with the finest materials, right? Objectively, this board probably, if I was a professional, I would say this is pretty mid board, but our perception of it is different and we are both wrong and right, okay? But if objectively speaking, this board is pretty mid, but that doesn't mean our perceptions are wrong nor right. So everybody has their own perception and neither is wrong or right. I'll give you another example so it's even more clear. Metal music, okay? If I said I love metal and it makes me energetic and it makes me confident and it makes me happy, and then another person would say I fucking hate metal music. That's the worst that's the worst genre of music ever, and I hate it. It's loud, it's annoying. Okay, so the music itself is the same. We're both listening to the same thing, but one person has a totally different reaction to another person, right? And our perceptions are both right and wrong, okay? So your reality changes depending on how you perceive things, okay? So the key to actually tripling your success is something I like to call going to third person, okay? You wanna go into third person and look at things from a third person perspective, but you won't be able to look at things from a third person's perspective if you don't understand that everyone's perception of reality is different and there is no right or wrong. So once I've explained that, and once you've accepted that, Once you believe that it's true, you take your definition of success, you now understand that the perception of reality can be different. Now what you have to do is acknowledge, I forgot how to spell, guys, is acknowledge the perception of other people, okay? Now, it's not about, oh, how I see things is right, how he sees things is right, or how I see things is wrong. He's wrong, I'm right. It's not about that. Again, there is no right or wrong. You want to acknowledge every perception of reality, no matter the character of the person, okay? So it doesn't matter if it's a homeless person or if it's a billionaire. You still want to acknowledge their perception of reality because everyone has a unique perception. Now, the key is for you to escape your own perception of reality from a third-person view and look at everyone else's. Because if you stick to your own and you cling on to your ego and you think your perception is right and everyone else is wrong, then you're never gonna find a better way to perceive things, okay? So when I say go into a third person, I mean become fluid, become non-binary, not the LGBT way, but become non-binary and know that there's different ways to perceive reality. And you want to acknowledge other people, speak to people, ask them questions. Hey, what do you think of investing in Bali? What do you think of copywriting? What do you think of, just questions about whatever it is, your success, okay? Say for example, you want to become rich, then you ask a rich person, how do you become rich? Or you ask a homeless person, how do you become rich? Both of their perceptions or their answers or perspectives are valid. A homeless person may not give you the best practical advice, but it may give you a different way to look at things. Because when you ask a homeless person, say for example, how do you become rich? He'll probably say something like, there is no such thing as rich. Rich is having your life and having food and shelter and having water. And although that perception of rich may not help you become rich in the materialistic way that you think, it gives you a better perspective of how lucky you are as a person and how you should be grateful for what you have, right? And when you ask the rich person how to become rich, he'll tell you, I guess, a actionable step that'll actually get you rich, right? Because if right now you're not rich and you want to become rich, you have to change how you perceive reality. You have to change the perspective. You have to adopt the perspective of someone that is rich and also someone that isn't. You want to mix the two and create the best of both worlds because you want to be like water. So after you've acknowledged everyone's perception, you want to judge objectively. So, judge objectively. Again, let me give you another example. Say I want to become the best ice cream merchant in Turkey, okay? You know those Turkey ice cream guys? Let's say I want to become the best, okay? So, if right now I think ice cream is a waste of money and it's not good for you because it's sweet and unhealthy and it makes you fat and it makes you have bad teeth. If I have that perception currently, do you think I would be the best ice cream man in the world? Probably, but most likely not, because I have such a negative notion of ice cream that I'm not gonna give all my heart and soul into the craft of becoming the best ice cream man. So that perception is actually holding me back. So when I say you're gonna triple your chances, you wanna acknowledge everyone's perception of ice cream. And you wanna acknowledge especially the people doing better than you, okay? You wanna ask them, hey, how do you become a better ice cream merchant? And then he'll give you advice like, oh, you need to be enthusiastic, you need to be this, you need to be that. And then another successful person will say, oh no, you need to be calm, you need to be tactical. And then you're gonna ask a bunch of people, okay? You wanna ask a bunch of people of their perspectives, and then you wanna use your own creative mind, your own critical thinking skills, and try to analyze and try to, I guess, judge objectively which one would benefit you most in your goal of becoming the best ice cream merchant, if that's your success, right? If that's your definition of success. So you would then take everyone else's perception, even the guy that doesn't even sell ice cream, you want to consider his perception because you never know what you can find, okay? And you want to basically merge everything together and see, okay, which one should I take and which one should I not take? And then basically kind of craft your own perception of ice cream and selling ice cream, which then you want to adopt that mindset, adopt that perspective, and it's going to literally triple your chances at success. And what I don't get is people don't want the odds. People don't want the odds in their favor because they want to be right. Most people are too close-minded. They're cynics. They're pessimists. They think, oh, science says this, so it must be this. Or I'm right. Scientifically, objectively, this is right, and you are wrong. Sure, you get to be right, but the optimist, or the people that are able to be fluid and able to take other people's perception, they get to be rich, or they get to succeed. Because I really don't get this. Why do you want to be right? Who cares if you're right? In the context of like a test, yes, there's a right and wrong, but this is life, right? They're technically, like, tell me, what's the best way to live life? There is no best way, okay? It's different to everyone. It depends on your needs and it depends on your context, right? So you want the odds in your favor, but most people don't want it in their favor for some stupid reason. So please just shift your mindset and adopt this way of thinking, of third-person thinking, because people might call you stupid, people might call you wrong, people might call you delusional, whatever, okay? They get to be right and you get to be rich, because all the odds are going to be in your favor if you can change the way you think. You want to change the way you perceive things. Say, for example, I'll give you another example. I want to become a MotoGP mechanic, okay? And say I was a cynic, I'm a pessimist, and I want to become a MotoGP mechanic. I would need to see things in a more pessimistic way because my job, my definition of success of becoming the best MotoGP mechanic requires me to be right 100% of the time. Because if I ever make a mistake when building an engine or just fixing things, it puts the risk of the MotoGP rider's life, right? And it also makes my bike perform bad. So sometimes it's good to have the cynic's mindset of always thinking objectively and always thinking scientifically. But in some cases, okay, say I want to become a millionaire, but I grew up in a low-income household. Statistics say it's almost impossible to become a millionaire from a low-income household. But if I think it's basically impossible, I'll never become one, right? So then the cynic mindset doesn't really work here. So then you want to ask other rich people, say how they did it and how they thought about it. They'll most likely tell you that they were delusional and they had the blind confidence to be able to do it. So would you rather be right, statistically right, and not become a millionaire and not achieve your definition of success? Or do you want to, let down the ego and be like water and be non-binary and take the advice of the rich person? Obviously the latter, right? So that, in a nutshell, is basically how you triple your success by simply shifting your mindset into a third-person perspective. Now, before I end this video, I want to talk about the most important key, okay? So after you adopt this mindset, you're going to eventually find the best perception or the best perspective to have in relation to your definition of success, okay? But that doesn't mean you should then close your mind and not be open to any other perceptions, because there's an infinite, well, technically not infinite, but there's a lot of people, a lot of new people you might meet, and you might find new perceptions that even though you thought right now is the best perception you have, always be open to new perceptions, because you never know. Someone could have an even better way of perceiving things that gets you to success faster than the one you have now. So you always gotta adapt. You gotta be, for the third time, you gotta be like water. You gotta adapt. It's also very important because your definition of success could change with age, with time. Maybe when you were 15 or 16 or 17 or 18, however old you're watching this right now you want to become like Andrew Tate, you want to buy a supercar because at a young age you want something more materialistic. But as you get older, you might have a different definition of success, which is living a chill life in the woods, in the cabins, right? But with a different definition of success, you should have a different perception of reality in a way where it benefits you most. So essentially, to recap, all you have to do is basically let go of the ego and have the humility to accept that there is no right or wrong way to perceive things in reality. That's one. And Define your success. Find out, what do you want to do, or what does success mean to you? Okay? After you find that, then talk to people. Go on groups, go into groups. Ask people, ask your parents, ask everyone. Look how they perceive reality. Look at other people's perceptions of reality and come up with your own conclusion. Come up with your own conclusion. Come up with your own perspective of seeing things. Because you don't want to think like someone else. Well, you do, but you want to perfectly tailor it to your definition of success, to your abilities, and to your circumstances. And you want to use your brain for that. Come to your own conclusion. Because for the 4th time now, as Bruce Lee says, be like water. Always be adapting and always be ready to change your perception of reality, because that is what's going to triple your chance at success. And as always, I'm rooting for you.